What's up, guys? You're listening to another episode of Selling on Amazon with Andy Isom. I went to Alibaba Co-Create, Alibaba's first ever in-person event here in North America. And in this episode, I'm going to share with you guys everything that I learned there. And there are a ton of juicy nuggets to share in this episode. So we'll see how long this episode turns out to be. Let's dive right into it. First of all, I got to give a massive shout out to Howard. Howard, I hope you're listening to this episode. Howard is a follower of mine on Instagram, a podcast listener. And I got to tell this quick story to start this episode off because this is actually crazy. Howard sent me a DM a few weeks before Alibaba Co-Create with a VIP discount to get into the conference. I actually wasn't going to go. I was like, Alibaba, like I know enough about Alibaba. Do I really got to go? But Howard DM'd me, was like, hey man, if you're thinking about going, hit up this VIP discount code. And I was like, okay, I'll check it out. I think tickets to the conference were $400, which I'm like, okay, it's a decently expensive conference. I don't know, most conferences are probably around that same price range. I'm like, okay. But this code that I got hooked up with knocked the price down to $150 for the price of the conference, which made it a great price. Here's what is mind-blowing. They also gave me 2 free nights at the hotel at Resorts World Las Vegas. I've never stayed at that resort. If any of you have, you know it's a nice resort. Like the rooms were nice. So fun story. I booked my ticket, $150. I'm like, okay, let's see if this is real. I don't get my hotel confirmation for a while. In fact, I actually had to email them 2 days before my flight on Monday and be like, hey, I haven't got my hotel confirmation. Is this like a real thing? Is this legit or did I get scammed? And they emailed me 5 minutes later and said, here's your hotel confirmation at the Conrad Hilton Resorts World. So I was like, okay, great. Anyways, fly there, right? Fly to Vegas, get there, get to my hotel, walk in. I was like, wow, this is nice. Walk up to the counter. And in the back of my mind, I'm just ready for the lady to be like, yeah, we don't see a reservation. I'm just ready for it. Cause I'm like, this can't be true. $150 for a conference and 2 nights at the hotel. There's no way. There's no way it's that price. I walk up to the counter, tell her my name. She's like, yeah, we see you here, Mr. Isom. Premium king size bed room with a view of the strip. I was like, that's me. I was like, yep, that's me. I just totally pretend. I was like, holy crap. But I totally acted cool as if like I knew that all along. I'm like, yep, that's me. Like, okay, here's your room, 21st floor. I get up there and sure enough, premium king size bed, huge windows, view of the whole Las Vegas strip. And I was just like, this is crazy. I cannot believe I got this for $150. So shout out Alibaba. If you guys see this episode, props to you guys for doing that. I don't know how you guys did it, but it definitely made me want to look into coming back next year if you guys are going to host it again in Vegas next year. So now I just got to get hooked up with a VIP code next year. But also to the end of this story, I actually ran into Howard at the conference. We ran into each other at lunch. And so that was a cool moment to kind of meet one of you guys in person. That's always fun when I get to run into someone that's a listener, a follower in person that I don't know. So that was really cool. Okay. I know this episode could get lengthy, so I want to dive straight into it. And I'm just going to knock out a whole bunch of nuggets of info, features, quotes, and things from the conference, just to try to give you guys a feel for what was there, what was talked about, what I learned. Now, just an overview of what the conference was, or like how it was laid out. It was a 2-day conference, about 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. both days. I did have to leave a couple hours early the second day to catch my flight, but it was just mainly some final keynotes and whatnot. So they had a main stage, right? Big, main convention room. Big keynote stage. A lot of executives from Alibaba were there, which was cool, like from China. So VPs, CTOs, and other people from Alibaba up there on the stage talking about Alibaba updates and, features and changes and goals and things that they're doing to help, improve the marketplace for, buyers here in the United States. So that was really cool to hear. They also had a bunch of keynote speakers / panelists that are e-commerce business owners. So e-commerce business owners, just like us, who source their products from Alibaba, just like us. So that was kind of cool to see. The founder of CrossNet, if you guys have ever played that name, it's like where you like hit the ball on the little circle net on the ground. We've played it. We liked that game. It was cool. He was there. A bunch of other like I said, e-commerce brand owners were there sharing their experiences, sourcing, e-commerce strategies, all that kind of stuff. So that was cool. Then they also had a breakout room. They just had one breakout room, but every 30 minutes, it was like a 30-minute schedule. They were doing like 30-minute small group breakout type of presentations. So going deeper into Alibaba features, talking more about trade assurance, talking about the buyers club, all different features of Alibaba, which I'm going to actually show you guys a bunch of those here in the episode today. But then also they had some other guest lecture speakers for those breakout sessions. So I went to other sessions where one of them was an attorney for Alibaba talking about IP, protecting your intellectual property on Alibaba. There were other speakers about if you're an inventor, like if you're coming up with inventing products, how do you do that? What's the best way to do that? How do you get your products in retail stores? There was a sourcing company there that was talking about how to ship your products from Alibaba to Amazon FBA warehouses. So all sorts of good stuff in that little breakout session. I actually probably spent more time in the breakout room than the actual main stage. My favorite part of the main stage was day 2. Damon John from Shark Tank was there, and he actually crushed it. His message was outstanding, so inspiring, so motivating. And then he also did a little panel with 3 former Shark Tank winners. The Smart Baker guy was there. I can't remember the names of all the companies, but like the Sandcastle company, and then a dog. It was like card games based on dogs. Anyways, 3 former winners, and they were talking to him, and that was cool too. So man, Damon was dropping value bombs. I'm gonna actually share some of the quotes that I took notes on from his lecture here in the episode as well. So yeah, good stuff. Oh, finally, they had another room there. 3 main rooms, right? Main keynote room, breakout room, and then the last room had suppliers from China. So they actually invited suppliers from China, had little booths. It was like a mini Canton Fair. So little booths with suppliers from China highlighting, showcasing their products. There was one that was, I'll share video. I got to share video of this. I have video clips from all this. I'm going to put together a couple reels for you guys over on Instagram. I got to share this. I just have so much content to go through in my phone to put those videos together. But you can see like the different booths highlighting like different types of products that these factories were offering. So that was kind of interesting to see. Okay. Lots of stuff, man. I could talk for hours. I'll talk more with my students this week on our weekly Q&A call to share more about the conference. They actually are already hearing this. So this episode is coming out a couple weeks after I actually went. So my students on my live Q&A have already probably heard more about this already. But if you do watch, I guess, the replay of that video, you're going to hear some more about the conference as well. Lots of good stuff. It was fun. I think it was worth it. For $150, no doubt. No doubt it was worth it. But it was really fun. I met some people, networked with some good people, saw some other Amazon seller, coach type of people like me there. It was cool. It was good. I came away feeling super motivated too, which is a big part, I think, of a lot of these conferences is if you're feeling in a rut, if you're feeling discouraged, if you're feeling unmotivated, get yourself out to one of these conferences. Especially for me, like I'm self-employed. I work from home essentially. It can be a lonely game. Other than, right? I talk to my students virtually and whatnot, but like to get face-to-face interaction with other people and I don't know, like really get in an environment of learning. Like it's like going back to college in a way, like sitting in these little breakout sessions. It really helps you get out of a rut. So that was really good for me to like really get out to a conference, learn, get some motivation, take some notes, and kind of get that fire going again. Okay, I know I've said this like 50 times already in the first 10 minutes of the episode, but let's talk. Let me get right into my notes here. Let's get right into it and talk about Alibaba, some new features, some things that they're doing that is different or maybe that I didn't know about. The first one, guys, is the photo search feature. I had no idea that this was even a thing, but I also have never used Alibaba on the phone app. I've only ever used it on my computer. So like the photo search feature is not a thing. Like what am I going to do? Like hold up my Mac and like try to take a picture? But if you have the Alibaba app, guys, this is brilliant. I've got the app downloaded right there. Hopefully you can focus on it kind of on my camera. I apologize. This might be a little bit blurry if I try to like hold it because my camera wants to focus on my face. But in the search bar, there's a little camera icon. So there's a little camera icon. You can see like, oh, my camera's like shining on my face right now. A little camera icon, but I can take a picture of anything and it will search for it on Alibaba. Now think about how brilliant this is. You're out and about. You're at the store. You're at Walmart. You're at Target. You're anywhere. You're at a flea market. You're anywhere. You see something, you're like, whoa, that's cool. Never seen anything like that. You take a picture of it, search for it on Alibaba, see if there's a supplier that can make it, or at least make something like that. Maybe you want to put your own twist on it. So let's just do a quick example. I know this isn't going to be fancy because I'm just like sitting right here in my office, but we'll do my little mouse. So I have my little like Logitech mouse right here. I get the search, I get the camera, I take a picture of my mouse right here. Boom. Searching for millions of products right now. Look at this. Now this is kind of sketch because this is a branded Logitech mouse, but look how crazy this is. Hopefully my camera will focus on it. Look at the search results right here. It is the identical mouse that I literally just took a photo of. And it's showing dozens of factories that can make this mouse. Let's just do one more. So I hit the search again, come up here. Let me actually like exit out and redo it. Let's do my Yeti. So I've got my Yeti tumbler here. Same thing. You don't need like a clear background either. It can be like a busy background. They don't care. Search. It's got my picture of my Yeti right there. It's searching. Check this. Almost the identical looking Yeti that I have. It's not like it's searching like oh, tumblers. It is identical. It is like the exact color, lid, everything. Crazy. So again, you see how powerful this is. Like if you're in this stage of like, I'm coming with a product, I just want to figure out what to sell. You want to sell a home and kitchen? Go to Target, go to Walmart, go in the home and kitchen, start taking pictures of stuff like, oh, that's kind of cool. Take a picture. Boom. Oh, that's kind of cool. I wonder if I can make my version of that. Boom, take a picture. You'll find suppliers that sell literally that exact thing. That's pretty cool. The next thing that's cool are VR showrooms. So you can see factory showrooms and get a 360-degree view of the factory. You can do this, I think within the app is probably the best way to do it, but I think you could do it on desktop as well. You go to the let me see if I can like show this somewhat quickly. Let me try to come here and see if I can find a factory. Let me click on this one. I'm not totally sure with this feature if you can do it on desktop, but if you message the supplier, like click and like contact the supplier, you should be able to open up a VR showroom where you can 360-degree view their factory. So you can see like, what does the factory look like? Is it clean? Is it safe? Is it up to date? Who is working there, right? Like these are all important things to consider. Like, are you using a reputable factory that's not using like child labor, or like poor working conditions, like all that kind of like a sweatshop, right? Like you want to verify all that for your brand. You can use the VR showroom to get a full 360-degree view of the factories. Okay, so ask your factory about that, especially if you're on Alibaba. Be like, hey, I'd love to do a VR showroom to see your factory. Here's another feature that's really cool. It's called live streaming. You can hop on a live stream with your factory or a potential factory so they can show you the product in video. You know, before now, it's been like, hey, can you send me some photos, or can they like take a video and send it to you? You could do literally, it's like doing a live call, but they're live streaming to you and presenting like, here's our mug. This is what it looks like, right? This is what we do. Now, chances are they're going to be speaking Chinese. But here's what's cool. There's an auto captioning that will change the audio to the text of your chosen language. And they have like 50 something languages. Let's see if we can actually find one here really quickly. So I'm going to go to the live section right here. And in the live section, you can see who is live right now. Like there are factories live streaming right now. All these are, or with your factory that you are reaching out to, you can ask them to do a live stream. Say, hey, I'd love to jump on a live stream to check out, what product offerings you have to see what kind of options you guys have. But like, let's just click on a random one here. So check this out. I am looking at the live stream. I am watching the live stream right here, and she is showing us, this is like a leather bag or leather folio type of thing. She is like showing us in detail the product. Now we're not hearing the volume obviously because we're just kind of watching the screen, but apparently it's got to be somewhere on here. I don't even know because it's literally my first time watching one of these. I think there's a way that they said you can like do a captioning. Whoops. Oh, I can hear now. Oh, she's speaking English. That's why. Maybe that's why there's like no auto caption button. Cause I'm like, wait, she's speaking in English, but I can message her right here. Sorry, I'm like so fascinated by this now. I can message her right here and be like, hey, I have a question about this. Can you talk more about this? And just type it in here in the live chat. It's like watching a YouTube live, but you can interact with that supplier and see the product they're showcasing. Again, you could do this privately as well. So you don't have to come here and be like, oh, I hope they're live, but you can message them, say, hey, can you do a live stream for me and talk more about the product? I'm getting so excited about this. Cause I'm like, think of how much time this could save from going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth messaging suppliers for 3 weeks, trying to get your point across. Hop on a live stream for 30 minutes and you can get all your questions answered about the product right then in 30 minutes. Boom. And then you're on your way. Amazing. I love this feature. Oh, I'm just checking my notes. Andy, sorry, apologize about the captioning. That is going live in October of this year, October 2023. So that's why, sorry, wasn't paying attention. I remember them mentioning they have the auto captioning translation. That's not available, but it's coming out in October, so soon. If the person is speaking Mandarin or something, you can auto translate it into English. That feature is really, really cool, guys. Okay. Next thing I guess I want to show you guys is the AI Smart Assistant. Now, I haven't really found where to access this on the desktop, but on the mobile app, there's a Smart AI Assistant. It's like using ChatGPT to get answers on like, where are your orders? Has it shipped yet? Or like finding stuff. Let me see if I can find the AI thing. Well, let me check my notes here. Actually, I'm not sure if that is actually live yet. They were showing us all how to do it, but I was taking notes and not actually messing with it on my phone. Let me see. I'm not sure if it's actually live yet. It may not be live yet. So we'll have to do a follow-up on that one, but they are coming out with it. So it's basically ChatGPT for Alibaba, where you can say like, where is my order? Where is it in the shipping process? Like if you're using Alibaba Logistics, which again, we're going to talk about here in just a second. And so it'll give you like real-time updates on orders. Here's the crazy thing too. It will also give like product recommendations. You can type in like, help me find a supplier of X product idea, and it will recommend suppliers for you. It will analyze markets for you. It was really cool when they showed it to us at the conference. Again, I'm not seeing it here on their website right off the bat, so I don't know that it's technically live right now, and I don't think they mentioned the exact date of it being launched or whatnot. So we'll keep our eyes out for that because that's going to be really cool too. Okay, some other notes here. Now I know that this is like all over the place. Like this is kind of just like random. It's not super organized notes here because I literally was just a big doc of notes as I heard certain things. So just some other notes here that I highlighted for topics that they were covering. Trade assurance was a big one. They talked a lot about trade assurance. End-to-end coverage to reach a resolution between buyer and supplier. If something isn't delivered on time, you can actually receive a claim without having to negotiate to a supplier. So not only like the big thing for trade assurance is like, okay, the product showed up, it's broken. It showed up, it's not what I asked for, like those types of issues. But if it doesn't show up on time, if it's late, the supplier gives you a date and it's late, you can actually receive a claim. You can submit a claim and you can be financially compensated for the time that it was late. So that's something that's really cool about trade assurance. We talked about the Alibaba Smart AI Assist. Oh, I got a question answered about verified supplier. So like you'll see here on Alibaba, like a bunch of these, I'm still on this live page right here. We'll see a bunch of these are showing as verified, right? Verified supplier, verified supplier, verified supplier. What is verified? Like, is that just like, I don't know, they paid extra to, I don't know, get the verified badge? No, they actually have a team on the ground in China and they go in person to do a physical audit of the supplier to see if they're reliable. They also use SGS third-party companies to vet suppliers. So it's not just Alibaba teams, they use third-party teams. So when you see that verified supplier, you can feel good knowing that Alibaba's team or third-party inspection team went to the factory and they meet all the criteria of being a good, reputable supplier using good business practices, safe, clean, all that kind of stuff, credentialed, insured. So here's my takeaway kind of from the whole verified supplier and the trade assurance thing, guys. I would strongly recommend you find a supplier that is verified with trade assurance. If you got those two things, you can feel really, really good about who you're working with. That's what I would say. Now, I know there's instances where people, maybe they have a more niche product. It's harder to find a supplier that they have to step outside that a little bit. And if that's the case, make sure you're using these other features like the live stream, the VR showroom to really get a good feel so you know who you're actually working with. That's really going to help protect you from getting scammed, from, running into issues down the road with a supplier that's not a reputable supplier. But if you can stick to that verified and trade assurance, you're going to be sitting in a really good spot. I think you can feel really good and confident with the suppliers that you're working with because you know that if there's any issues, Alibaba Trade Assurance can handle that for you to protect you financially, right? Okay, two things, and then we're going to talk about RFQs. So we're going to talk about logistics, buyers club, then RFQ. First, logistics services. I'm here on Alibaba.com on the desktop. I'm showing you guys on screen if you're all watching on YouTube. You can navigate to the logistics services page and you can get quotes and recommendations for freight forwarders depending on what country you're shipping from and where you're shipping to. This is really cool. So if you want to find a freight forwarder through Alibaba Logistics, you can compare quotes right here from this page. You can compare shipping times. You can see who the logistics company is. And again, if you use the Alibaba Logistics services, you can have real-time tracking door to door, end to end to see exactly where your shipment is. And again, if there's any issues, if it's late, if it's not on time, you can file a claim with trade assurance and get financially compensated. So like, hey, this showed up 3 weeks late. I missed the deadline. I missed out on sales or whatnot. You can get financially compensated for that. And they have 24/7 customer support. So let's just do a little example here. So origin is China. I'm saying, okay, my factory's in China. Where am I shipping to? You can put in a zip code here. I could say, I'll just put my zip code of my 3PL. So I put in the zip code of my 3PL. That's it. You don't even have to put, so like you can put the zip code of your house. If you don't have a 3PL, just put in your house. Put in my zip code of my 3PL. Expected transit time. You can say, I want it delivered within 10 days, 20 days, 40 days, or no preference. Let's just say no preference. Like if it's 40 days, that's great. I don't really have a preference. Boom, confirm. Search quotes. Here we go. So it's sorted by recommended. So it's giving me my recommended freight forwarders that ship from China to Utah, right? My 3PL. And it's giving me all the info. I can do LCL, I can do less than container, so I can share a container with other shipments, or I can do express shipping. They do 2-door delivery. They ship general goods, average response time, their star rating, the estimated shipment time, 18 to 25 business days. And then they're giving you a default load and a price. So they're giving me US dollars, $48, default load, 21 kilograms. So the cool thing is I can kind of compare rates right here, right off the bat and see, okay, they're 18 to 25 business days, $48. The next one down here, Fly Logistics, 22 to 25 business days, $67. They also do special goods. They have a little bit higher rating, but I could just click here, this chat now button, and I could open up a chat with any of these freight forwarding companies. So if I find one that I'm like, oh, I like that, or I like that, or you can just heck, chat with all of them if you want. But if you find one that's like, hey, this is looking pretty good, chat now and let them know kind of what you're thinking, what your game plan is. Now, you could do this before you find your supplier, after you find your supplier. Like maybe you find your supplier, you order a sample, right? You're just feeling them out. Order a sample looks good. You're like, okay, sample looks solid. I'm feeling pretty good about moving forward with the supplier. Obviously, the supplier, the next thing they're going to ask is like, do you have a freight forwarder? And you can either say yes, I can go find your own, or you can say no. And you could either ask them who's their freight forwarder, although I know, some people out there don't recommend that, although it can be really easy. The issue with that, of using them as the freight forwarder, the supplier, is they could upcharge you. Like they could upcharge you quite a bit because they are the freight forwarder. So they can kind of tie in whatever price they want. But you could wait and be like, okay, let's hold. I ordered my sample. Everything's good. Just don't respond, right? They ask you, who's your freight forwarder? Just don't respond. Wait, give it a couple days. Come here, chat with a few of these logistics companies. Maybe it's Fly Logistics. Maybe you message them. You tell them, you say, hey, I'm looking about selling pillows, whatever it is. Here's the factory. You copy and paste the factory name. You get the info from the Alibaba page right of the factory. Here's the factory that I'm thinking about using. Can you give me my shipping options and rates from this factory to this zip code, that I obviously put in here, 8460, whatever that number is. And then get more info. Now you can go back to your factory, and when they say, who's your freight forwarder? Say, yeah, my freight forwarder is Fly Logistics. And they'll say, okay, great, cool. Boom. And then they coordinate everything. Your logistics company coordinates with the factory about picking up the shipment, getting it to your door, or to your 3PL, or to Amazon, whatever it is that you choose to do. And everything's right there. And you can track all this in Alibaba. You can track the shipment end to end in Alibaba. Really cool. Honestly, really cool. I look forward to hearing maybe experiences from you guys who are going to use this and check this out. Okay, next thing is called Buyers Club. Buyers Club is something that I had no idea what it was. I didn't even know we were a part of it, but apparently we are because I learned about it. And there's different levels of the Buyers Club. This is based on how much money you're spending on Alibaba. Here we go. I have a little pop-up here on my screen. It's based on how much you spend with Alibaba. So if you spend less than $1,000, I think it's per month. It might be per year. Can't remember actually. But depending on how much you spend with Alibaba, you get these different tiers. We're a pro buyer. We're at the highest level you can be because we spend a crap ton of money on inventory, obviously. But you get certain perks and features depending on what club level you are. So since we're a pro buyer, we get up to $1,000 on quick refunds on orders under $500. We get $10 off with a new supplier. That's like nothing special. We get up to 50% off on certain products, up to 90% off on samples. We get RFQ quotes with supplier preferences. We get a little bit better RFQ quotes, and we're going to talk about that next. We get 60-day order protection instead of 30-day with trade assurance, so we get an extra 30 days. We get Alibaba fulfillment services, some special shipment consolidation. We get $500 in US coupons, so that's just like $500 off our orders, and then we get pro customer service. So you can see right there on screen kind of the different benefits of kind of working your way up. So yeah, I can check out what are the products that are 50% off that I get access to. I can get 90% off samples, like all sorts of good stuff. Samples, we pretty much get samples for free at this point anyway, but it's really nice to not have to spend 50 or $100 every time you want to order a sample of the next product that you want to launch. Okay. Last thing that I wanted to mention, and this is something that I don't really talk about as much because personally we don't really use it, but it's something that's super powerful and a lot of people at Alibaba Co-Create talked about it. Not only the Alibaba employees, but the other like e-commerce guest speakers that were there, a lot of them talked about this. And that is the RFQ, the request for quotation feature. So you can go and find a supplier in Alibaba two ways, right? You can come in here and type long sleeve baby bibs. That's like, I don't know what's grayed out right here, but you could type in your product idea. You could take a picture, right? Like I showed you guys, or you can use the RFQ, the request for quote button. RFQ button, I think is underrated. I don't think we're talking about it enough here on the podcast, I guess in my world, because instead of like you doing a whole bunch of manual outreach, like searching and clicking and trying to find suppliers, you come in here, put in what you want to source, put in as much information as you want for what you're trying to source from your supplier, and then click post. And within hours, you'll have a whole bunch of quotes from factories that can make your product. Like they say you can get, again, I've never tested this, but they say you can get dozens of responses within, if you do it at nighttime, right? If you do it on like Chinese, when it's Chinese working hours, like late at night, you can get it within minutes, 15 minutes, you can have quotes. If you do it obviously during the US working daytime, it might take a few hours for, it's middle of the night in China, but you can get a lot of quotes really fast. And here's another cool thing is they mention this, and again, I can't figure out where it is, and maybe it's not live yet, but the AI tool on Alibaba, you can chat with the AI tool like ChatGPT and ask it to come up with an RFQ template for your product idea. You might be able to do this on ChatGPT. I haven't tested it out, but you could try that as well in the meantime. But like right here in this little box of like, fill in the sourcing requirements. You're like, well, I don't really know what to type here. Go to ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, I'm thinking about sourcing this product from Alibaba. Come up with a RFQ sourcing template that I can send to potential suppliers. Type that in ChatGPT, see what it does. I haven't tried it yet, but I'll probably try it after I stop the episode. You know what? Screw it. Let's try it right now. Why not? I'm thinking of sourcing body pillows from Alibaba. Create a request for quotation product idea that I can send to potential suppliers for quotes. Let's see what it does. I have no idea what it's going to do. Not bad. It's a little lengthy. I'm not going to read this whole thing out on the podcast, but if you can see this on the screen, it's a little lengthy. But these product specifications, that's what I would start. Honestly, I would probably just copy and paste this product specification thing where it's like type of body pillow, material, size, weight, color options, cover material, customization options. That I would start right there, copy, paste that in to the RFQ. Where did it go? I'll find it. Paste it right here into this RFQ box and click post request. Obviously, you're going to have to edit it, right? You're going to have to fill out this info like memory foam, microfiber, cotton, whatever these sizes and weights and all that. You got to figure that out, obviously. But paste that in there and you're going to get a bunch of suppliers that are like anxious, ready, willing to get your business. Here's the other like side benefit of RFQ. If you post on RFQ, it's basically like posting a job listing, like saying, hey, who wants to work? So if suppliers are replying to your RFQ, they want business. They need business. Here's insider info from Alibaba Co-Create, from Alibaba executives. They were sharing some stats and I didn't write them down, but they were high. It was something as high as like 80% of suppliers on Alibaba are anxious. I can't remember the word they use, anxious or stressed about finding new business. So from Alibaba, not only talking to buyers like us, but talking to their suppliers, a lot of suppliers on there are stressed. Like they need business, they need work, they need to make money. So when you post on RFQ and these hungry factories are reaching out to you, guess what that means for you? It's going to be a lot easier to negotiate. If you are initiating contact, like you're doing the search on Alibaba, like body pillows, who makes body pillows, scrolling, clicking, sending them a message saying, hey, I saw your body pillows. Like, can you make this? You're initiating contact. They are holding the leverage in the communication because you're the one that's reaching out to them. Now, if it's vice versa with the RFQ, they reach out to you. Now you hold the leverage. You're like, hey, I got 10 quotes here. Why should I pick you? Well, we can do this, this, and this. Okay. What are your costs? Well, I got 5 other quotes here that say they can do it cheaper. So you can negotiate. You can like play your hand with all these different factories that are giving you quotes. Negotiate down minimum order quantities, negotiate down price, negotiate free samples, negotiate as much as you want, but but these are factories that are hungry for business that may be more willing to work with you as a new startup, Amazon brand. So that's why it's like, I feel like I don't talk enough about RFQ because I haven't personally really used it or needed to use it, but I think that could be a really, really cool feature for a lot of you guys. Okay. That's it for my notes as far as like Alibaba updates and features and things. I want to talk about now. I will wrap the episode with thoughts from Daymond John. Now, I was stoked because I actually I took a photo on Instagram, like when I was there, and I like put it on my story and I said like, Daymond John is crushing it. I think some of you guys may have seen it. Daymond liked it. I was total fanboy. Like when I saw it, like in my notification, it was like Daymond John, and it had a big heart on my story. Like he saw it and tapped the heart button. I was like, oh my gosh, Daymond John saw my post. I don't know. He's a big time guy. Like he's got a lot of followers. I would say he's a celebrity. So that was cool to see. He recognized my post and appreciated it. But I took a bunch of notes here from his keynote and his panel and things he said. And I'm just going to share some of these notes because these were really eye-opening to me, motivational to me. And it might not sound like super like game-changing information, but it's just like, oh my gosh, that is so true. That's so real. The number one takeaway from Daymond that he kept saying over and over is like almost like a theme because he kept answering so many questions with it. Take affordable steps. Take affordable steps. People are asking him like, how do you get started with a small budget? How do you get started when you don't have a big team? Like all these, roadblocks to building a successful brand for yourself. I don't have the money for a mold. I don't have money for this or this or this. He was like, take affordable steps. Like what is the next affordable step that you can take? And he even said one thing. He's like, if you don't have any money to start your business, go out there and utilize someone who already does have the money to start a business and work with them. The example that he gave was, he was saying like, okay, you want to start a brand and you don't have any inventory. You can't afford to pay for inventory. There's probably someone out there on the internet or in person. Maybe they got a brick and mortar. They're sitting on a bunch of inventory that they don't know how to sell. They want to start their business. They bought a bunch of inventory. They don't really know how to move it. Go over there, talk to them or virtually, right? And say, hey, I see you have a brand. I see you're not getting the sales. Maybe you'd love to. I would love to help you create some social media content to sell some more inventory. If I can move your inventory, could I get 15% of sales that I generate? And they're like, yeah, sure. Like they're struggling, right? They don't know how to do social media. They don't know how to do TikTok. Maybe you're good at that. So what do? You partner with them. It doesn't cost you a dime. You go create some funny content, some cool content related to their product. You start selling their product for them. You make some money selling their product. Now you have money. Go start your own brand. And just like things like that, I was like, oh my gosh, we're just full of excuses as humans. I don't have money. It's too competitive. I don't have a team. I don't have the skills. We just make excuses for ourselves. Just take the next affordable step. What's the next affordable step that you can take for your business journey? He also mentioned it's 20 times harder to find a new customer than to upsell or resell a current customer. This kind of goes off the previous podcast episode that I recorded about when you're thinking about repeat purchase products or complementary products for your brand. Both strategies, I think, are a must. Guys, you have to get into this business, any business, really. Doesn't really matter what your business is. You could be a restaurant. You have to get into the mindset of really focusing on how you can get a customer that walks through your door, whether it's at your burger joint or virtually on your website or on your Amazon listing, to come back. How do you get them to come back again? A second time, whether that's to buy the same thing again, or to buy a complimentary product, or to pay you more money for something else that you offer, or to, eat there again if you're a burger restaurant, right? But you have to think about how can you get someone who comes to your door for the first time to come back? So many people are neglecting that. They're so focused on like new customers. I gotta get new customers. But how can you get the people that are already know your brand, have purchased from you to come back again? So put an emphasis there. He also said, quote, you will always relate to people when you have a very specific point of view. So in a world where everything is saturated. Gosh, Instagram is saturated. TikTok's getting saturated. YouTube is saturated. Like wherever you want to be a blogger, an influencer, e-commerce, Amazon, Shopify, eBay, like it doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter. Everything is quote unquote saturated. So if you want to stand out, you got to relate. If you want to stand out, you got to relate. Think about Instagram for a second. What are the videos that you share the most? Not like, not comment, share. Shares are the most valuable response on social media. That's what gives a post the most views, the most boost, the most, algorithm view, all that. Shares. You share, your post does well. What are the posts people share? Posts that are relatable. That's it. And you think like, well, I share a lot of funny stuff. Why is it funny? Because it's relatable to you in some way. I'm thinking about, gosh, I have a fantasy football group chat on Instagram, all my fantasy football friends. What do we share all day in our group chat on Instagram? Funny fantasy football memes. Why? Because it relates to fantasy football. We can relate to the funny memes. What do I share in my family group text? Funny, relatable memes, content, videos to our family. If it's like Polynesian funny videos, like my family were Hawaiian, right? So if there's like a funny Polynesian video, it gets shared in the group message because it's relatable. It might not be funny to everyone, but for us, it's relatable. So whoever your target customer is, your target market, whatever it is, you gotta be relatable. And you will always relate to people when you have a very specific point of view. So if you want to relate to people and build a stronger community, have a point of view on things. Have a very specific point of view on how you do things, what you think about things, your review of things, and you're going to relate more to people and you're going to see your product do better and your business do better. When you create something of value, you tell everyone and they tell everyone. When you create something of value, you tell everyone and they tell everyone. A big way to know if your product idea is lame or your product is just not that good is you don't want to tell anyone. And I think I know people who are in this boat where they're selling something on Amazon and they're just not really proud of it. Like borderline embarrassed, I might even use that word, where they know in their heart it's not that good. Like it's not that valuable. They know they're in it for the money, and that's not a bad thing. Like, let's be honest, we're all in it for the money. We're all in it for the money, but they know deep down their product is not a good value. And so they don't talk about it. Don't tell people about it. So that's one. That's a really, 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 really good sign to know if you're on the wrong path and you need to make a change. You need to add value. You need to make a switch. You need to do something different. Is if you, in your heart, you're not excited to tell people about your product. If you're not like stoked to be like, yeah, this is what we sell. This is our brand. This is what we do on Amazon. Even if you have no doubt, like you're getting one sale a day, who cares? If your product is a value and you're passionate and you feel good about it and you think it's a great product, you're going to tell people. We did. We're selling one bandana a day, $800 a month. And we were telling everyone what we sold, what we did, what our product was, because we knew it was such an amazing product. It was so much better than everything that was out there. The other big sign that you're on the right track is they tell everyone. Who is they? Obviously your customers. So if no one else is talking about your product, there's no chatter on social media about it. No one's ever posted about it. No one's ever messaged you about it. You're not getting any reviews about it. If no one else is telling anyone else about it, you also know you've got a problem. When you create something of value, you tell everyone and they tell everyone. A question was asked by one of the former Shark Tank contestants who actually got a deal on Shark Tank. All the three guys did. He asked Damon in the panel, he said, Damon, 2023, more people than ever in the history of the earth are starting brands, e-commerce brands, right? Physical product brands. How on earth can we be successful in this climate, in this competition with starting e-commerce brands? And that was an amazing question because I'm sitting there in that room of 2,000, 3,000 people. I look around, they're like a big room of people. And I literally thought to myself, I was like, holy crap. Every single person sitting in the seat right now probably owns an e-commerce brand or is trying to start an e-commerce brand. And then I think about that's just in this room. Think about everyone in the United States that is trying to do this. There is so much competition that it can just seem overwhelming. It can seem inconquerable. Like how in this vast sea of millions of sellers could I ever make a living doing this? And the thing that he said, the answer to that question that was so insightful to me was use your life journey to build your products. And I looked like immediately, I was like, that's so insightful. It seems so simple, but it's so insightful. Because I was looking at Remy, I was like thinking for a second about Remy and Rue. I was like, how on earth did Remy and Rue blow up to what it is? Like be so successful to what it is right now? It's nothing like revolutionary. We just made a better dog bandana, like let's be honest. But how did it get to $1.7 million in sales every year selling freaking dog bandanas? It's because it was our life journey. It wasn't like I looked on Jungle Scout and was like, oh, dog bandanas. And I didn't have a dog and never used dog bandanas. It came from our soul. Our journey led us to that. It was our dog. We were sewing them. It was our passion. It was our intuition. That's why it was successful. And it was our drive to make it a success. You are the only one who has had your life. You are the only human that has ever lived, not just alive, ever in the history of humanity that has had your life. And when you stop and think about that for a second, that is how you are different. That is how you are going to create a product, a brand that is different. That is how you stand out. That is how you beat the competition. That is how you build a brand that makes money. That's how you change your life, right? It is by your life, not someone else's. So stop trying to come up with a product or a brand or a business based on someone else's experience. Use your life experiences, the trials you've been through, the successes you've been through, the skills you've learned, the interests, tendencies, just like everything that you've been born with, or just like genetically inherited, right? Or anything. Everything you've absorbed, you're like a sponge, right? In your lifetime, everything that you've soaked in as your own unique sponge, use all of that and start thinking about products and brands that relate to that. I literally did this while I was there one night, because I was actually thinking, this is a little insider info right here. I was actually thinking, if I were ever to start my own brand, a new brand, what would I sell? And I came up with a product. I'm not going to share it right now. But I came up with a brand and a product and product lines within 10 minutes. And the only thing I did for that exercise was I sat down and I said, what makes me unique? What makes me unique? And I started thinking about the things I've done in my life that make me unique, the things I'm interested in, my hobbies, my passions. And then when I started to stack those, I'm like, I'm the only human on earth that can say this. I've done this. I've been here. I love this. I hate this. I'm good at this. I'm the only human on earth that can say that. So when I put all those pieces together, I started seeing products and ideas come to my mind of these are things that are me. These are me. This is my passion. This is my skill set. This is my experience. And I was I felt like I came up with a pretty decent product/brand idea in a matter of a few minutes, just doing that exercise. So that was super insightful. Sorry, I know this episode's going long, but it's good. Man, there was good stuff. A few other notes here from Damon John. This one hit me right in the face. The two best-selling products in Shark Tank history are a sock and a sponge. And again, that hit me so hard in the face, where I was like, holy crap, that's mind blowing. You would think best selling is some super unique revolutionary invention. No, two best selling products in Shark Tank history. I think you said they're filming season 16. 16 years, hundreds of products and brands have been pitched and had deals and scaled and whatnot. A sock company, Bombas socks, if you've heard of them. Nothing crazy, guys. They sell socks. That's it. Their socks, it's not even they sell crazy designs. They're just good quality socks. And a sponge, Scrub Daddy. I've talked about that on the podcast before. It is literally a sponge in the shape of a smiley face. Multiple millions of dollars. They have millions of followers on social media. It is a sponge. How on earth? It wasn't like they invented the sponge. The sponge had been around for decades. Socks had been around for centuries. I think we could say that. Couple hundred years. How on earth did a sock and a sponge become the two best-selling products in Shark Tank history? They had a unique story to tell. It wasn't that they made a good quality product. It's a good sponge. They're good quality socks. But how on earth do you outsell all the huge household names of these brands that sell socks and sponges? You have a unique story to sell. Sell/tell. And the story behind it is what drove it. The story behind it is what drove people to fall in love with the socks and fall in love with the sponges. So it's more than just the product. You don't have to waste all this time trying to come up with this crazy, revolutionary, never before seen, heard product and idea. Sock and a sponge, guys. You just have to be you. You have to be unique. You have to tell a story. You have to build a brand, right? You have to build a community. And that's how, again, if you're excited to tell everyone, they'll be excited to tell everyone. You don't have to be sexy. That's what Damon said. You don't have to be sexy, right? You don't have to be a t-shirt, a Louis Vuitton t-shirt that sells for $300. There's people who spend $300 on Louis Vuitton t-shirts. There's also people who only spend $9 on t-shirts at Walmart. And then he said there's people everywhere in between. You just got to find what makes you unique and connect with your ideal customer. Another quote, a couple more quotes here. Just looking at my notes. A couple other quotes here. Something he said, just remember this, guys. That overnight success was 7 to 10 years in the making. That overnight success was 7 to 10 years in the making. We are bombarded on social media with success stories, people making billions and millions and all this crazy. And you'll see ads and, people selling you programs. Trying to get you to buy stuff saying, look how crazy successful this person was and this person and this one. Guys, most people are 7 to 10 years in the making. That's what I am, honestly. I've been doing this for 8 years. Legitimately, it took me about 6 years before I actually started making decent money on my own from my own businesses. 6 years, fiddling around, testing, trying, posting, creating, selling. It takes time. It takes time to figure it out, to find your groove, to learn, to make mistakes, to get up and try again. Be patient. People want to do things too fast. That was another thing. Is like people want to do things too fast. Just take the next affordable step and stick with it. Stick with it. The last thing, and I'll leave with this, is literally the last note. If I showed you right here on my Notion notes, the last note from the conference here, I put it in all caps. Confidence. You are unique. This is something that I am struggling with right now mentally, just like with my own businesses, my own brands and everything. Is like, how can we keep finding success? Like it just seems like, every year that passes, it just gets harder and harder. And I'm not just talking Amazon guys either. I'm talking everything, anything. Gosh, even like if you're going to go try and get a job, like forget entrepreneurship, like it's harder to win an interview. Like you want that job, you want that promotion. There's 100 other people out there interviewing for that same promotion. Things are just hard. Things get harder and harder. There's more humans on the earth. People are getting smarter. Like it's just hard. Everything in life is hard. It's hard to be really good at stuff. It's hard to be a really good basketball player. Like it's just hard. But big thing I for myself, right? This was notes for myself, but also for you guys. Confidence. Be confident. Have confidence. You are unique. Think back to my high school/college days of playing baseball. Guys, baseball is like 60-70% confidence. Let's be real. When you step into the batter's box, more than half the battle is the confidence that you're actually going to hit the ball. Because like when you step in there and like, oh, this dude who's pitching, he's like a projected first round draft pick, Steven Strasburg, right? Or some other guy. And you're like, this dude is going to get picked in the first round. He throws 99 miles an hour. I'm not even going to touch this ball. You struck out. You've already struck out mentally before you even like took the bat off your shoulder. If that's your mindset, right? You have to step into the box saying, I can do this. I can hit this. I'm going to hit this. I'm going to see the ball out of the hand. I'm going to see the pitch, right? I'm going to swing at strikes. I'm going to take balls. Like whatever your like mental, step-by-step thing is for baseball, it's the same thing with your business. It's the same thing with your life. You have to be confident. You are unique. Andy, I can't do this. Can't come up with a unique product idea. I'm not going to be successful. I don't have the skills. It's too saturated. Too many people trying to do this. I'm just going to be stuck in my job. I can't progress in my career. You are unique. Use your uniqueness in whatever it is in your life, getting that promotion, starting your business, whatever you're trying to do to level up, to find that success you're looking for. Use your uniqueness. You're the only you on this earth. Use that to your strength and be confident. Be confident. I want you to be smart. I want you to, don't be delusional. There's a fine line between confidence and being delusional, but be confident. If you're a doubter, if you're doubting, you've already lost. There's going to be doubts. Absorb them, digest them, and then move on, right? Wash them away, blow them away, whatever your meditation practice is to get those doubts out, get them out, address them and get them out of your head and move on. It'd just be like in baseball, next pitch, swing and miss, next pitch, be confident. You got this next pitch. You're going to hit it on the next at bat. You're going to get, you're going to get on base on the next time you hit it. Like whatever it is, next at bat, next pitch, next business, next product, next day, next test, next whatever interview, like whatever it is, you got this. Be confident. Guys, that's all I got. Appreciate you guys tuning into this, again, lengthy episode, but a lot of good stuff. I hope that I can get back to Alibaba Co-Create maybe another year in the future if they do another event. But hopefully there's been some good, insightful nuggets from this episode. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. I appreciate the reviews on the podcast. We're creeping up there. My next goal is 800 reviews, guys, over there on Apple. If you're an iPhone listener, I would love to hear your review. I read every single one of them. All 700 and whatever there are right now. I've read every single one. So thank you guys for taking time to leave me a review. It means a lot to me personally, to my business, right, to my success. So thank you guys so much. Once again, I'm Andy. You're listening to Selling on Amazon with Andy Isom. See you in the next episode.